All right, everyone. Here it is, The American Werewolf and my review of Late Night with the Devil. Now, there I was last night driving to a 7:40 p.m. screening of Late Night with the Devil at a new theater that I'd never been to before in Turnersville, New Jersey, which ended up being out in the middle of the fucking woods. It was creepy as hell. Not gonna lie, the E in the Regal or the R in the Regal wasn't even showing, so it just said Eagle or this screwed up spelling of Eagle. And I was saying on X that if Vincent Price had jumped out to scare me, to give me a jump scare, I wouldn't have been that surprised. But at 7:40 p.m. on a Sunday, I walk into the theater for Late Night with the Devil, and it was half full. So that told me something. Now, the way I'm going to handle this review is I'm just going to go into a bit of the exposition, a bit of the background. I'm not going to get into spoilers. I want you to go see this in the theater. If you're not willing, my understanding is it's going to drop in a couple of weeks on Shudder, so maybe you'll catch it that way, but you should see this in the theater. It's just got a great feel to it. And nowadays, people don't like to necessarily go, but there's no substitution for me for sitting in, and this was old school. This was no pre-selected seats. These were no super comfortable seats. They were really small and narrow, and you just got the seat that you picked. So I went all the way up into the back and sat right dead center in the middle, in the last row, and just watched it. And with everyone else, enjoyed a nice bag of popcorn and enjoyed this horror flick. Now, like I said, I'm not going to get into too much, but here's the exposition and the background. We have David Dastmalchian, and I've been a fan of this guy, like you all, since The Dark Knight, where he was sort of this nameless thug that worked for the Joker, and he just had an odd look. And I was listening to James Hancock's YouTube channel the other day when he was, or maybe it was earlier this morning when he was talking about this movie. And he said, this guy's just got a great look. He's got an odd look. And he could be, for this generation, the next Steve Buscemi. And I am a huge Buscemi fan. He's given us many decades of great character work. He's also been a leading man. This is Dastmalchian's first leading role. I couldn't be happier for him. My understanding is he is a huge horror fan. And so hats off to him. All the best. I hope your career just, continues to rise and your star continues to rise and you keep doing and giving us great work that you love to do. Okay, let's get into the film. It's basically set up where Dastmalchian is a perennial contender in the late night wars, the late night television show wars. And so he seems to do everything right, runs a great show, but he can't beat Johnny Carson. And, if you know who Johnny Carson is, he was the absolute king of late night. And it didn't make a difference if he did everything 100%. You weren't going to beat Johnny Carson. He goes at it for years, and he just can't do it. He even, goes through the public loss of his wife and her death, driving his ratings up as he brings his wife onto the show right before she passes. Takes a year off after his wife passes away, but then decides to come back and, resume what he used to do. And so this show basically focuses on one particular show that he does on Halloween, where he brings on 3 guests: a psychic, a former illusionists along the line of David Blaine or David Copperfield, who's now a professional skeptic and investigator into the paranormal. He gives a shout out to Ed and Lorraine Warren, saying that they refused to appear with him on the stage, so he can debunk what they have to say. And he brings on a girl and a woman who is her caretaker. The girl was apparently involved in a sort of David Koresh kind of satanic cult, and she may or may not be possessed. And then from there, it just kind of takes off. And that's all I'm going to disclose in terms of anything approaching a spoiler, because like I said, I want you to go see it. Now, let me just say, this movie is fantastic. I'm not exactly sure what the production budget for this film was, but I believe it was less than $2 million, which is unbelievably inexpensive. We're talking about, independent horror here, under $2 million. I was just talking about how Neon's Immaculate was unbelievably inexpensive at under $10 million. I think it was somewhere in the $9 million range. This is under $2 million. And I have to tell you, this was better than Immaculate. I saw both movies this weekend. Horror had a big weekend. Indie horror had a big weekend. But I got to go with this as the winner over Sydney Sweeney in Immaculate, although I would advise you to go see Immaculate as well. You're just talking about a fantastic story. And I said that was the one thing that Immaculate was lacking. The story was just kind of unhinged. This is just an incredibly tight script, dialogue-driven, very few effects. I know that people are talking about a couple of AI images. I'm not going to bother get into that. That's just people picking that shit out of pepper. If you're an industry person or something like that, then I can see you getting into it. If you're just some, YouTuber and wants to talk about AI, that's fine too. But I'm not going to do it. I'm talking about the film. Fantastic script. Dastmalchian is the only recognizable star for me in the film. So I like that, in that, he's sort of who you're looking to resolve the issue as the leading man. But everyone in here gives a fantastic performance, from Dastmalchian all the way to the smallest guy working behind the scenes in the studio as the production continues to roll. Very small things have a big impact in this. And I will say that there's just one scene, and I'm not giving anything away when I say this. There's one scene where a siren goes off, and you just know something has gone terribly wrong. Like, it's on from this point. Very, very, very impressed with the pacing of the film. I mean, it doesn't drag in any particular point. You want to know what's going on from one moment to the next. There's never a single second where you're caught staring at your watch or something like that. You're just engaged completely for the entire 90 minutes. It's a very quick film, not pretentious at all. And when things really, it just there's about 10 minutes of 5 minutes, maybe a little bit more of exposition in the beginning. And then there's just this buildup and this tension that just starts to roll and then snowball. And you're just watching this thing the entire time. And you're like, this is so impressive. It's so scary. It's just got you the entire time. And that's exactly what you want from a horror movie. You don't need kills necessarily. You don't need gore. You need to be scared. What I want from a horror movie is to be scared. And this movie absolutely succeeds in scaring the crap out of me, keeping me engaged the entire time, and walking out of the theater 90 minutes later with my empty bag of popcorn saying, fuck yeah, this is the type of horror we need. I don't necessarily care I don't care at all about Scream 7 and this person returning and that person returning. Give me a story. And this absolutely does. Give me good performances. You've got it all right here. Under $2 million. I can't say enough good things about it. My rating for this, I have a system that works out from 0 to 5 up by halves. I'm going with 4.5 out of 5. My initial Letterboxd review from last night was 4 out of 5, but I'm going to bump it up half a notch. It's not perfect. It's not cinema, but it might be. I would need to watch it again. And I own Shudder, so when it comes on Shudder, I'm definitely going to watch it again. There are a few movies that I caught in the theaters before they dropped to Shudder, like When Evil Lurks. I never watched When Evil Lurks again. I'm going to have to do that again really soon. The Sadness, I didn't catch that when that came to cinemas. I'm not even sure if it did, because it was a Taiwanese film. And then I saw it when it immediately dropped to Shudder, and I was very impressed. But this, definitely going to rewatch again the second it comes to Shudder. And who knows, the score might go up again. Sometimes a film gets better every time you watch it. Sometimes it loses something, and sometimes you watch it and you just say, wow, this is still absolutely holding up. I have every confidence that it will hold up. It's only a question of, will it rise to 5? Because now that I understand what it is that I'm looking at, I plan to thoroughly enjoy it that much more. And I think it drops like April 11th or something like that in like 3 weeks. So it's not that far away. But that's my video, 4.5 out of 5. Late Night with the Devil. Congratulations to David Dastmalchian and everybody involved in this project. It's just fantastic and exactly the fresh injection of good storytelling that horror needs. Okay, that's my video. Like this video, leave a comment. Are you going to go see it? Are you going to wait for Shudder? What's the deal? Subscribe to the channel. I will see you all in the next video. All right, take care, everybody. God bless you.